All of us makes mistakes, it's inevitable, and it's part of personal growth. However, there was this one mistake that I did about 4 years back when I first graduated from university that constantly haunts me until today, and I'm happy to share that with you. When I graduated from university, I started working at my first full-time corporate job, earning my first paycheck. It feels good to start earning adult money, and it's in huge contrast to the peanuts that I was earning from past part-time jobs or internships. I got myself a new PC, bought some new clothes, eat out at a nice restaurant every now and then with my loved ones. Life was good. I want more. I got introduced to stocks and crypto by watching finance videos on YouTube and from friends. The common saying from everyone that talks about investing would always be this magical phrase called compound interest. The more you invest, the longer you do it, the more you'll gain by the time you retire. And so I did just that. At first, I put in a fixed amount every month into stocks and crypto. However, in just a few short months, the amount I've invested has almost doubled. It was during a period that people call a bull market, where almost everything is pretty much going up, and it's almost impossible to lose money unless you invest into some rug pull asset. With my greed of wanting more money to enjoy life, and the dopamine of earning such easy money, famous last words, in such a short period of time, where all I did was put in money and it just keeps going up, I decided to go all in on it. I barely saved any cash for my own expenses, had no emergency fund, and I put almost everything I earn every month from my paycheck into investing, which amounts to almost a staggering 70% or more. One fateful day, the infamous Luna crypto coin started to collapse, where it tanked from around $100 per coin to almost $70 in a few short hours. I did not invest into this coin, but I saw an opportunity and decided to short the coin. I knew nothing about this coin, nothing about the context of what's causing it to tank, maybe some rumors here and there, causing the general public to lose faith and thus mass selling it. In just a matter of a few hours or so, I was in the profits of tens of thousands of dollars. Crazy, I know. You could imagine the dopamine hit that I was getting at that point. It was crazy. And I was literally like that meme that was like, I want more. Comment down below if you know what that meme is, because I couldn't find it. And well, because I knew nothing about the context, I was just going by gut feel on shorting it. And based on my short experience with looking at charts, I doubt it would go down any further and would soon recover. I decided to bet on the recovery and went on another margin trade, betting that the price would recover. If you think about it, nothing seemed stupid about this, except that I didn't put a stop loss and just went to sleep, thinking that I'll wake up with $100,000 in my trading account. Little did I know that I would have one of my worst mornings I would ever experience in my life in just a matter of hours. Upon waking up and opening the trading app, I couldn't believe my eyes. The coin sits at around $20, tanking to almost 80% of its initial value. That wasn't just the end. My entire trading account was wiped off, including all my other assets that I held on it because I got margin called. The tens of thousands of dollars of profit and my own portfolio disappeared, and I couldn't believe my eyes. You know when you watch a movie and the main character was so shocked at something that it seems like everything was zooming out in slow-mo? That was me. I could literally feel my heart pounding against my chest, and I genuinely feel like throwing up. Everything gone just like that. And if you thought that was the last of it, you were wrong. Fortunately or not fortunately, I didn't put my entire crypto portfolio in that one exchange when it got margin called. I had another held in this other interest generating website, generating about 7% return every year by simply leaving it inside. So following the Luna collapse, there were a few exchanges here and there halting withdrawals as people were mass withdrawing their assets. Pretty much a bank run. It caused one of the biggest exchange called FTX to halt withdrawals too, and well, the rest was history. But stupid me thought that I was safe since my assets wasn't in FTX, but in another, and surely it wouldn't happen to it too. But well, I became the luckiest unluckiest person, and my crypto assets were halted from withdrawals too. When an exchange halts withdrawals, it's pretty much the end, and you can assume that it's all gone. In fact, till this day, no one has gotten back their money. In hindsight, it was easy for me to blame myself for not withdrawing it all out when it's happening to other exchanges. But the me back then, the lack of experience and not having seen such collapse before, thought it was okay to do just that. With that, in just a matter of days, I literally lost my entire crypto portfolio that amounts to the tens of thousands. To make matters worse, my stock portfolio, though safe, wasn't performing the best and was deep into the red. I followed the news on the crypto collapse, reading threads on how people had decided to move on to the other world after losing their family's life savings to invest, leaving their families behind. It was heartbreaking that people had to turn to debt. And to be frank with you, if I actually did all these mistakes that I've shared when I have my own family, who knows, I might be one of them. If there's a silver lining to this mistake of mine, it was due to me simply being young. I have the time frame to recover financially, and at that point, I don't have the responsibilities of taking care of my own family just yet. As difficult as it is to convince myself, I knew that I could come out of this, and it would soon be just a story that I can share with others, like now. Money is just a tool, a means to an end, a form of language to solve complex human problems, or whatever you thought of it. Life is way more than that, and younger me knew that, picked myself up, and worked hard to correct my mistake. Though I took a break from investing due to that blunder of mine, I soon got back into it gradually in 2023. This time, I dollar cost averaged a sensible amount of my paycheck into it, ensuring that I saved enough for my own expenses, my emergency fund, and my future big expenses such as getting a house. I did not spend any time looking at charts to trade like how I used to. I didn't read news on the assets, nor did I constantly open up my investing app to look at whether it goes up or not. I simply have the app auto invest for me every month, and that was it. I simply invest majority of my money into blue chips and a small amount into high growth stocks. I figured that gone were the days of trading, as the anxiety was simply not worth it, and it wasn't what I want to do with my life anyways, looking at charts and chasing money. I want to spend as little time as possible on it, getting the benefits of compound interest and giving me the time to work on things that truly matters to me, which was this channel. I grinded hard on my YouTube channel, and here I am with 4K subs. I know it took a while to get to this part of the story, but here it is. Just recently, the stock that I've invested in did pretty well, better than I expected actually. The unrealized profits was enough to cover all my losses that I experienced since the major crypto collapse a few years back. The past me would have left the profits there and prayed that it would continue to rise, and there's actually no right or wrong in this, but personally, I want to be able to get back on a clean start. I want to recover back all my losses and restart from there afresh. It gives me that peace of mind that I'm no longer held back by my past mistake, and that at this point, it would simply be a huge and valuable lesson that I could learn from, that I would keep close to my heart deep into adulthood. I did just that and sold almost all my stocks, realizing all my profits and recovering the mistake that haunts me every now and then for the longest time. It was a huge sigh of relief, but at the same time, it wasn't how I would have expected it to feel. I thought that I would be over the moon, jumping around, but there I was, simply on my chair, looking at the money I've recovered, and I'm simply like, okay. I suppose it was the realization that my life would go on as per normal that hit me. It's not like all of this money would change my life or what. I mean, it's a huge sum, don't get me wrong, but I've learned from my mistake and planned my finance into its granular detail, ensuring that every aspect of my present and future life would be smooth sailing. So with this money, they're simply just going back to my bank with no changes to my livelihood. I'm grateful, very grateful that I was able to recover my money, which is by no means a small amount, don't get me wrong, but it taught me a huge and important lesson, and in fact, it showed me just that in my very own life. Whatever mistakes that we make, no matter how big or how small, in time to come would just be a thing of the past, and life would still go on. It may take months or years, however long it is. Soon, there will be a point in your life where that mistake will soon become just a funny story that you share with those around you. Whether you lost a bunch of money in that collapse, losing your entire savings, thinking that your life is over, it isn't. Money can be earned back. And there's way more to life than that. It's just a tool, that's it. I experienced so many great things since then, made new friends, got promoted in my job, planning for my future family, my YouTube channel, my new job, my loved ones, the trips I've been with them. These are things that I wouldn't have experienced if I gave up back then. It sounds crazy, but I am so glad that I made that mistake, losing all that money, and I don't think I would take it back, because that was a huge part of what made me to who I am today. The resilience to hang on after a huge mistake, the ability to calm human greed, the humility in dealing with others' mistakes, and the push that I need to find what truly matters to me and work on it. Now, I am happy to say that I can finally close this chapter of mine, and I hope that you can do the same for yours too.